Greetings and salutations to an episode of Nerdosphere Newsweek. I am your host, Corbin, and alongside me is my brother Clayton, as always. Now, seeing as this is our first episode since our reformatting, I want to take a quick sec to explain to you what this show entails and what it aims to achieve. Throughout the week on various platforms, news breaks into the interwebs in the realms of movies, television, comics, and video games. And during that time, I'm going to be setting aside the 5 top stories that I believe are worthy enough to bring to this table, talk to my brother, and bring to your attention. If we do our jobs correctly, you will walk away from this experience laughing at our attempted banter and knowing something that you did not prior to hitting play. So let's dive right in with
Let's do it.
number 1. Uno. Black Adam gets his own movie as he splits from the Shazam flick, which is being penned by Earth by Echo screenwriter. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson had a meeting with Jeff Johns, who is now the Kevin Feige of DC Films, and they've decided to reorganize the New Line Cinema partnership with the DC film universe, and he is now getting his own solo flick in the attempts that he will get the movie out sooner and be the lead instead of the lead villain. And with this, that means the movie is now slated for a 2018 release instead of a 2019 release. Shazam is still being made alongside Black Adam, but will not feature the titular villain as its villain, and will possibly show up in a Shazam movie down the road.
This seems strange.
Doesn't it? Why? Because they're painting him as this anti-hero, which what Black Adam is very much I guess you could say maybe a sympathetic villain, meaning you can kind of understand
Where he's coming from.
But he's still a villain. It would be like it's literally like making a movie on Sinestro. Well, that'd be kind of cool because Sinestro's a cool character, I guess. I mean, I guess it just depends on what you think. But Sinestro is a character who thinks he is doing what is best, and it's just evil.
Yeah. It just seems weird. I never understood why they cast him as Black Adam and not Shazam. Like, why not have him as the superhero? I just don't get it.
It makes sense. I mean, that makes sense too, because he's very good at that childlike humor.
Yeah, and that's kind of the core of Shazam.
The Rock, while he plays badasses, he's not really a badass. You know what I mean? Like, he's not like... I don't think he could get into a nitty-gritty dark character.
Like a bad guy. Like
right.
A super dark bad guy.
He's always like he's a badass in the sense like Chuck Norris is a badass. Chuck Norris is never going to like be a convincing villain.
Right.
He's just too good of a dude.
Yeah. Same with Dwayne. So it's just strange. It's also strange that they're like, it seems like they're latching onto it just for the sheer fact of The Rock's fame right now. You know what I mean? Like trying to use that to propel the universe into good graces, even though I just don't see how they could make a movie out of it. I just don't get it.
If you were to clock the amount of time that he's been campaigning, not only for the role, but for the amount of time that he's been assigned the role, it's been near 10 years. This movie has been
so similar to Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool.
So I mean, if it goes that way, it'll be like
it'll be really good.
One of the best movies DC has made so far.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm a fan of The Rock. I just have never quite grasped the thought process behind him being Black Adam, and I definitely don't get pushing this movie out, especially before Shazam.
Yeah, so we're actually looking at they have to get their ducks in a row.
So is it going to be a period piece? Are we going to see like how Black Adam became Black Adam and got stuck as Black Adam? And
I feel like that'd be the only way to do it.
So back in because he's like Egyptian or something, right? Isn't he Egyptian or something?
I don't think he's from this planet.
No, he is.
Is he?
He's just like super old, and he can't ever change back. Because if he changes back,
he'll
die because he's.
That's true.
Super old, like hundreds of thousands of years old or something. I don't know. See, that just goes to show. Two high-end nerds like ourselves don't even know.
Well, because he's always been. Nick and I have talked about this. He's just like one of those characters that, he just like pops up in big events, and he's a really cool character when he does. But he's not like cool enough that makes you want to go into his world. I think particularly that's because his world is Shazam's world, and Shazam is the same way. Shazam, when he's in the ensemble, I'm like, I like this guy, but I'm never gonna seek out a Shazam comic, personally.
Yeah.
Like, you don't find him to be that intriguing of a character.
Yeah.
But we do get insight on the tone, rightfully so, what Shazam will be by having the screenwriter who did Earth by Echo doing the script for Shazam. But Shazam still has no director lined up or lead even rumored. But what's funny is they split this movie into two movies.
Mm-hmm.
But both movies now are only half done with pre-production. You have Shazam movie that has a screenwriter, but no actor and no director.
Mm-hmm.
And you now have the other movie that has an actor and is going to inevitably just have some random director assigned to it because they want to get out the same year as Aquaman in 2018. So it's like, well, if you just combine the two, you're almost done.
Right.
You're creating more work for yourself. And but it's interesting that something has changed also, because the New Line, it's under the New Line Cinema banner, which is still a subsidiary company of Warner Brothers. But they had always talked about the Shazam movie being like its own thing. Like, it's in the same universe, but it's its own thing. Yeah. But then you had that Instagram pic from Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson with Henry Cavill over Christmas break, and now this. It's just they don't know what they're doing over there. It's so clear.
Yeah.
It's just frustrating. But anyways, moving on. Number 2, Star Wars Episode 8 has a title, and it is called The Last Jedi.
Yes. Someone
made a meme of a Star Wars scroll for Episode 8, and it says Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Luke Skywalker, please don't die. Luke Skywalker, please don't die. Please don't die. Please don't die. Please don't die. Please don't die.
It would have been so much funnier if you didn't mess up the first one. Because now all I'm thinking about, and all the audience is thinking about, is Skyward.
My mouth is dry and I stumble over my words, okay? That happens a lot.
Obviously, it's kind of ominous, even though it may not be ominous. Everyone thinks it's ominous. I mean, it could even just be, because Jedi is also plural, it could just be the last...
of the Jedi. Him and Rey. And as Star Wars continues to teach us, just because they say it's the Last Jedi doesn't mean it's the Last Jedi, because there's always somebody else out there. Someone else also made a meme lining up episodes 7, 8, and 9 with their titles, and it was The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi from his nap.
Yeah, I saw that one. That's pretty funny. So obviously, plenty of speculation could ensue from this title, but it really... the same as The Force Awakens. It's cryptic and vague in general and really may not even mean anything.
And it kind of like gives us, it's all conjecture, but it kind of gives us more evidence of what we already assumed and knew, and that's Luke Skywalker is going to be a main focus. But I mean, even Rian Johnson has said that the primary relationship in this movie is Luke and Rey. So,
yeah.
You know. Which is all I wanted. You know, I understand why he couldn't be in the last episode, because the whole idea is to bring in this new generation to the franchise to keep the longevity and to keep it going after the original cast is long gone. And if Luke had been in it, we wouldn't have cared about anything with characters. But
I wouldn't say that.
Well, that's the reason why. I mean,
yeah, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't agree with that.
I would, if once the moment Luke was on screen, even for the last half of the movie, I'd be like, Rey, Poe, Finn, I don't care. Luke Skywalker, baby.
Nah, I disagree.
You can disagree all you want, and I guess that's why we're here to talk about it.
Yeah, because Han Solo was in the entire movie, basically, and it didn't take away from the other generation.
I don't think Han Solo has the clout that Luke does.
I don't think Luke would have either, especially if he took an Obi-Wan type stance and was kind of like a background character the whole time. But that's just my opinion.
Number 3. Vin Diesel doesn't want Marvel to give up on the Inhumans film. He was recently interviewed and was quoted as saying, "I don't think Marvel should abandon their opportunity to make a film of it," he said. "I think it could be a huge, huge saga. And if I had more time, I would go over to Marvel and have that very conversation. But I think it would be a big mistake for Marvel to abandon their ambitions or their objective of their goals of making it into a film, because it would make such a cool universe." This interview was made after the first 2 episodes had their director announcement, after they had partnered with IMAX to make this show, because they want to have it. They want the show to have a cinema-esque quality of special effects and feel.
Mm-hmm.
And the first 2 episodes are going to be released in theaters, and filming starts in Hawaii, like in a month. But he's trying to fight it. But I think that all but confirms the rumors that he was going to play Black Bolt in the movie version, and also confirms that he's not playing Black Bolt in the TV version.
Yeah. I think it's a win all around, because I don't think The Inhumans was ever going to be that great of a movie. I don't think Vin Diesel would have been a good pick for Black Bolt, although if there was a role made for Vin Diesel, it would be a role that didn't have any speaking parts.
He's really good at saying, "I am Groot."
He is good at saying "I am Groot." He's also good at being like, "We're family."
No.
We're family. We steal cars for a living.
No.
And we're family.
On this Nerd Podcast, we don't talk about that franchise.
We're family. Oh my goodness. You've been saying we're family for 7 movies, and now you're the bad guy.
Which means she's got some good dirt on him.
What in the world could she possibly have on him? What did he do before he started stealing cars and becoming an international wanted man? What in the world could she possibly have over him? Questions.
He was a dork at an Ivy League school.
You know what it is?
His bros wouldn't like it.
You know what she's got on him? He doesn't want anyone to know that he's actually Triple X, because he knows how bad that movie is. And she's like, if you don't help me right now and betray all your friends, I'm going to tell them that you were actually in this other movie, and they're going to laugh at you. And he was like, sign me up.
I wish we had recorded my wife's reaction for when that trailer had played. When I forget what movie we saw. But it was at the Galaxy. Doctor Strange?
Yeah, probably. She laughed out loud, alone.
So loud. It was really so funny. Great. The moment the motorcycle hit the waves and he was riding on the ocean.
No, she laughed at the beginning when he was using the skis to ski down the jungle.
Because she was a couple people away from me, because I was sitting next to my pharmacist friend. And
yeah, Nick, as soon as it started and he's like at the top of that telephone pole and skis, and he jumps down like skis through the jungle, she just laughed like super hard.
It's so great. She wants to see it, and I think there's going to be a comedic aspect to that movie for sure.
We're family.
Moving on. Although I will say my 2 cents, which is, I think given the right attention, it could have been something cool.
No.
Since they don't have the rights to the X-Men, you can make the Inhumans their mutants of the MCU. No. But I think S.H.I.E.L.D. had ruined it. There's some really good stories of the Inhumans, particularly even with Quicksilver, but that has been demolished thanks to Joss Whedon. But I guess what I'm also interested is, since it's going to be on TV and it's going to be on ABC Family, despite the fact that they are trying to achieve a show that has a cinematic feel and a cinematic look and cinematic VFX, I don't know really how it's going to feel, if that makes sense, because it's going to be on ABC, so it's going to have this atmosphere about it. And where is it going to take place? Is it going to take place on the moon where it should? Or is it going to be the Inhuman royal family adjusting to real life in Manhattan? You know what I mean? Like, what really is it going to be a procedural show? Is it going to be in the same vein of a Netflix show that network shows don't actually do, which is just like a really strong story
what it's
arc?
going to be is, this always happens, where a network show says, we're going for a cinematic feel, we're going for a realistic, trying to rival cable television feel, but when we release it, it's actually going to just be more network crap. It's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah. Well,
just the fact that it's releasing on ABC tells you all you need to know about that show.
It's true. But wasn't Lost
if
ABC?
It was going to be...
Wasn't Lost ABC? Lost was ABC. Lost was ABC. Lost was ABC.
If they... Yeah, but so is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
So. I will say, I watched the last 2 episodes that feature Ghost Rider, which is the Good Samaritan and what's the last three? It was the Good Samaritan. The next one I don't know, because the Good Samaritan is one where they have like the brief cameo of what we believe is Johnny Blaze, because it shows what's his face getting the Ghost Rider. And those last couple episodes were actually like, they were decent. They're actually okay to watch. But I think it's only because when Ghost Rider's on screen, he just looks so cool that everything around him is just like kind of like falls into fuzz while you're just like in awe.
That's another like super waste. You get back the rights to Ghost Rider and you put him in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
And then Coulson does this. I don't even know what it was. It was some big weapon that the villain of that half of the season, which is something different that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did this year, is half the season was a story arc and now the second half is a story arc, which is interesting. But anyways, Ghost Rider took him, the villain, and the super weapon back down to hell, but kind of like sealing his fate of being stuck in hell. And while Quake was talking to Coulson like, oh, we'll never see him again, Coulson was like, never say never. The other Ghost Rider got out. And she was like, wait, what? And he was like, that's a story for another time. So he's like insinuating that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. knew about the Ghost Rider that gave him, the new Ghost Rider, his powers. And it's like, how do you guys just... I just don't buy it. Especially since up until that point, Coulson and everyone else was like, there's no such thing as like hell and magic and blah, blah, blah. It's like, if you knew the previous Ghost Rider existed, then why are you doubting what was happening? Like, I just don't understand.
Because there's no reason to even try.
Easter egg for the sake of an Easter egg.
Yeah.
Moving on, because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. does not deserve our time or yours. I do apologize. We're supposed to be bringing you content that you want to hear. Number 4. Rights for Terminator revert back to James Cameron in 2019, and he already has plans for Deadpool director Tim Miller to helm the project and breathe new life into this beaten dead horse of a franchise.
I was reading that he wants to do one more movie that's going to be kind of not only a reboot, but a send-off to the franchise also.
Which is very intriguing considering his loving reviews and comments that he gave to Terminator Genesis. And that's even more intriguing when you compare them to the stark difference that he made to Terminator Salvation, when he thought that was just like the pits of cinema. Which is funny because Terminator Salvation is like my, next to Judgment Day, is my favorite one. And finally took us to the future with John Connor, telling a story that I cared about, which is just them fighting the machines. You had Anton Yelchin, rest his soul, playing Kyle Reese. Like, the actors that were all set up were really good. And Christian Bale, I don't know if I said that, was John Connor.
But he's really good in that movie.
It was just, I don't know, like that movie to me was so cool. And that's what they should have used that and made a sequel to that with the same cast. But no, they just...
Yep.
That franchise is a mess.
It's
but you know what, James Cameron? You show us what you got, since you're planning 5 other Avatar films and giving us movies we don't care about.
5 Avatar movies.
And number 5, Green Lantern casting rumors for Hal Jordan are as follows.
Oh, here we go.
Tom Cruise, who will be showing up in The Mummy, which means that he probably will not sign on because he is signing a multi-picture deal with Universal to be in their monster universe. So his name is probably there as a archetype of like someone they're looking for.
Yeah.
Joel McHale, who is best known, I think, for Community.
What?
And
Community and
The Soup. The Soup. Which that would not no to... I think he's hilarious in the Community. But not Hal Jordan. Maybe Guy Gardner.
No.
Not even that.
No.
But just not at all. Just don't put him in a movie that needs to even be at all. Please don't. He doesn't need to... No. DC doesn't need any more bad omens. Bradley Cooper. Best.
I've said Bradley Cooper for a long time.
Which is interesting because Bradley Cooper was actively trying to get the role of Hal Jordan the first time, and in a sense said, I'm glad I didn't get the part.
Yeah. So maybe he'll get it this time and they can do something nice with it.
This one is my favorite. Armie Hammer is rumored for the role. I personally really enjoy Armie Hammer. He most recently was in The Man from U.N.C.L.E., who starred alongside Henry Cavill. He was also supposed to be... He was cast officially and wore the Batman suit and was cast to be Batman in the Justice League film that George Romero was making, the guy who made the Mad Max films and Mad Max Fury Road. And he's also one of the directors who is rumored to direct this film. So you have connections. Armie Hammer working with Henry Cavill, correct connections to the director. So I could very easily see him entering that universe through that way.
Yeah.
James Marsden has surfaced, most recently being in Westworld, but to the nerd community was Cyclops in the X-Men films.
I'd be okay with that probably.
And Jake Gyllenhaal, which he has been trying to get in on the superhero game for a while, even dating back to Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 2.
He'll always be kind of a joke to me. Like, I'll always laugh when I hear his name, but that's probably not a bad pick, honestly.
No. David Goyer is penning the script, which makes me worried because he's been penning the scripts for almost all their stuff, and they're all crap.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to save this for the last casting rumor. Believe it or not, Ryan Reynolds he's on the list. Ryan Reynolds is on the list. So
you can't do that.
Well,
you can't do it.
So what's happening here is they have now seen his success with Deadpool, and they want to capitalize on his popularity and either double down on that joke of a film earlier, or
the only positive
pretend
thing
that one didn't happen, but still have him as the character. I don't even think Ryan Reynolds would come back, because he even purposely made fun of that movie in Deadpool because he hated it.
Yeah,
he loved the character, but the same with Deadpool and Wolverine Origins kind of got screwed over, and I was like, "What are you guys doing?"
If they bring Ryan Reynolds back, I'm calling it right now. If they bring Ryan Reynolds back, they won't do an origin story.
Well, they're already not.
It will be insinuated that other movie did happen, and watch Mark Strong return as Sinestro.
That was a great casting. But the movie has already been confirmed that the narrative archetype is Lethal Weapon in space. So far to the point that literally the two leads are Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan. So it literally is Lethal Weapon, a white dude and a black dude. And
cops. But space cops.
That's
so
what they're
that means
for.
Hal Jordan is the hot-headed Australian.
Yeah.
No.
So Donald Glover has to be Danny Glover. I mean, Donald Glover is Childish Gambino. Danny Glover has got to be Jon Stewart.
I'm getting too old for this
shit. Getting too old for this shit.
Hal, I'm getting too old for this.
I'm training you. What are you talking about? For this week only, since it's our return to the news roundup, I have a bonus round for you.
A bonus round? Oh my god!
A bonus round, because something interesting has happened. You get 3 bonus rounds, and at the end of this bonus round, I want you to take out the most interesting one. Okay? Number 1.
I get to choose?
Number 1.
Okay.
The Flash film. Okay, so this is what I'll do. I'll label the 3, and we'll talk about 1. Okay. The Flash film is going back to a page 1 rewrite.
Okay.
2. Square Enix and Marvel have announced a multi-game partnership, starting with an Avengers game made by the Tomb Raider developer Crystal Dynamics and Deus Ex developer Eidos Montreal. It's due to come out in 2018. They released a teaser trailer, and they, in combination with Telltale's games of Guardians of the Galaxy and Insomniac's Spider-Man, Marvel does seem to be making good on their promise to bring us quality games. But this partnership with Square Enix seems to be, they are implying a game universe. So multiple franchises that all connect into a large story, just like the MCU. But they would obviously be separate from Spider-Man, because that is a Sony exclusive, which means it's going to be dynamite.
Yes.
And number 3, Bryan Singer's X-Men drama got ordered to pilot.
Let's talk about that one. I want to talk about that one.
So Bryan Singer's X-Men drama follows a family that has discovered that their son is a mutant. So now they have to go on the run from the government and Sentinels. But the Sentinels are completely different than the Sentinels we've seen in the movie universe, even though they're supposed to be kind of in the same universe anyways.
Kind of like how Legion is supposed to be in the same universe, but it's really not in the same universe.
Because they don't want to hinder the storytelling.
Right.
Which just means that the film universe is so chaotic and erratic that they are like, you know what, we're going to do our thing, because there's no way we could even try to like keep up with what you're doing over there. And they also meet up with some sort of resistance. against the
Oh, a
government.
mutant resistance.
So
It's a
officially,
family drama.
He's executive producing. I think he's directing the pilot. It's his brainchild. It's his baby that he wanted to bring to television.
So is the entire family gonna wear matching leather suits?
Do you have anything that screams leather daddy?
Yes, and I've got enough to fill 4 movies. 5 movies.
So congratulations, Bryan Singer. Despite all of the DC chaos and the fact that I don't think we're ever going to see a Flash film, you are our dope of the week.
Again.
I cannot...
He's always the dope of the week.
He's always the dope of the week.
He's the dope of 2016.
He's the dope of 2016, and he is starting off 2017.
He's starting off 2017 as the dope of the week.
It's also important to note that the person who's apparently penning the new Flash script is Joby Harold, who wrote King Arthur and Robin Hood. So,
I mean, those are both decent flicks.
They're decent, but it's not like, what of those makes you qualified to make a Flash movie?
I don't know. What made Mark Webb qualified to direct a Spider-Man film?
That actually... his take on 500 Days of Summer and showing that earnest love relationship and kind of like the grounded nature and the humanity of those characters is what made him eligible for Spider-Man.
Oh.
Because The Amazing Spider-Man is seems like an indie film. Like, it's very grounded in the relationships.
You pulled that out your butt and I'm not buying it, so.
I have more to say about The Flash, but we'll do that in the next time we chit chat, because I watched the mid-season premiere of The Flash. So that is all I have for you this week on Nerdosphere Newsweek. Do you want to take us out?
This has been Nerdosphere Newsweek. Stay tuned until next week when we bring you another 5 top stories of the week. You can find us on YouTube, on Podbean, on iTunes, and anywhere you'd want to look for us, like Facebook or Twitter.
Also, please hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Hit the subscribe.
If you like this video, be sure to hit the like button.
Subscribe.
Comment down what you thought about our top movies of the week and your top stories of the week. And we'll see you next time.